Just like to start by making a note how beautiful Kate looks tonight. I'd like to reiterate how much Ryan is batting above his average. Thanks also to both sets of parents, Bob and Anne, and Tom and Marilyn, for bringing up these two great people we have here tonight. What a great ceremony. I've known Ryan for many, many years, but I never realised he was such a traditionalist. It was really great to see that you wanted to wait till your wedding day to symbolically release your blue balls. When visiting Ryan in Melbourne a few months ago, he asked me to give a short speech, 5 minutes max. At the time I thought this was for the benefit of everyone here at the wedding, but I quickly realised that 5 minutes is about the max amount of time he'll be able to stay focused. So bear with me. I was struggling to come up with appropriate material for this speech, and it came to me when I received a call from Bob, Ryan's dad, when he needed some tech support. So I was sitting at home and my phone starts to ring. It says the name Ryan Home, so their home number. It's been many years since I've had that number come up on my screen. So I answer the call, and it's Bob on the line. He says, "Mark, it's Bob. Ryan's dad." "Hi, Bob." "It's Bob, the guy who likes maths." "Okay, Bob." So we get chatting, and I professed to Bob that I was struggling to get consistency in my speech because Ryan's been so inconsistent for so many years, and he's changed his focus so many times. So having a bit of a laugh about Ryan's latest adventure, that became the theme of this speech, is Ryan's focus, which I've conveniently broken down into 3 key areas of study, work, and love. So I'll start with the first part, being study. So Ryan's focus, inability to focus on one thing for a long period of time became most evident in uni, when he managed to change degrees more times than humanly thought possible. At one point he was at Macquarie, then he's down to Canberra, I think next, back to Macquarie, and out to Western Sydney, and UTS, and then out to Western Sydney. So got a fair few in there, but it's safe to say he got there in the end. And as far as I know, no more study plans for the future. The second component is Ryan's work. Now when it comes to work, he's classic Gen Y. We've seen a multitude of different jobs, from docs to school counselling, to working overseas in Cambodia, and back to Sydney for a stint, and then off again to South Africa for a larger stint. Now it's safe to say that everyone was starting to get a bit worried, none more than his mother Anne. I clearly remember the day that Ryan took off for his latest adventure of working in South Africa. And I was standing at the departure gate with Anne, and she professed to me that she was very concerned he was going off on another tangent, and then he'll end up marrying a South African girl and never coming home. Now, many months later, I thought Anne's premonition had come true when I was on the phone to Ryan in South Africa, and he told me he was in the car, currently embarking on a 7-hour journey to see this girl. Oh dear, I thought to myself, immediately starting to worry about the fragile mental state of my isolated mate, who's clearly been bewitched by some tribesman's potion. "That's great," I said, whilst frantically Googling on my iPhone for Africa love potion effectiveness. I quickly come across the reputable website called Lucky Mojo, which lists the following ingredients for said potion. Number 1, dragon's blood resin. Number 2, burnt knotted shoelaces. Number 3, cinnamon. And the main ingredient, number 4, and I kid you not, alcohol. Shit, I thought to myself, this bird's spiked Ryan's drink and he's driving back 7 hours for more. So this leads me on to the third component of Ryan's focus in love. Now where Ryan might be disjointed on the study and work front, his love for his friends, family and Kate is unwavering. You'd be hard-pressed finding a more loyal and generous mate. He's a great listener too, which is one of the many reasons he's such a great psychologist. It doesn't matter how far Ryan roams, he's only ever a phone call away. And keeping in touch is something he's always excelled in, and it's one of the things, many things, I've always valued greatly in our friendship. Okay, Ryan's love for you is about as focused as you can get, or as he can get. This was clear to me the first time I saw you guys together. You've been an amazing addition to our group and have fitted in right from the start. Meeting you felt like we've known each other for years because you complement Ryan so well. In fact, when he first told me you guys were getting married, he said to me, "She lets me be myself." Well, that was a way into Ryan's heart, but it was also a way into mine and also the rest of the boys in the group, so thank you for letting him be him. Inappropriate comments and all. To wrap it up, I think it's safe to say we're all very pleased to conceive travelling to Melbourne and travelling to South Africa. So please raise your glasses to the bride and groom. I wish them all the best for the future.
Thanks very much, Mark. I'd just like to say I'm just very glad that none of the antics from the Bucks weekend got brought to light over there. Next up, we have the lady of the evening, the freshest newlywed setup as well. Please welcome to the stage, Mrs. Kate Finlay.
I guess there's so much that I want to say today, and I'll probably veto this by some silliness that came up with. I guess Ryan and I considered in many ways that we might get married on our return to Australia and go eloping and maybe a small little garden thing, but ultimately we wanted everyone that we love to be here, and I think this has really proved that decision to be a good one. I was well aware, I guess, of the effort that people were making coming from Victoria, and I have been so completely chuffed about not only people being here, but their enthusiasm in being here. It's been incredibly humbling, as has all the support that we received throughout our time away. I guess you can only really embark on those kind of changes in your life when you know what you have to come home to. So thank you for all of your thoughts, emails, everything in between. It's been so fundamental to, I guess, our time together and also what you all mean to us. Brian and I would particularly like to thank those people that have really busted their way to get here. So Michelle and Matt from ENT. And Christine and Ray from across the Tasman, equipped with their camera and always ready to embarrass us, which is what I would want. Today would not have been the same without you. As much as I didn't want this shindig to become an event, there really have been some elements that have been unavoidable, and I want to thank everyone who hasn't hesitated in offering, and the offers have been inundated. So it's been amazing. I guess I particularly want to thank the likes of Carla and Anna, who on meeting me were kind enough to share their Sydney Pearls of Wisdom. It was really lovely when you really didn't know me from a bar of soap. My beautiful girls in Melbourne, Beck and Kate, for spoiling me over my hen's day, and always being there. My darling Emma, whoever you are to me, and all you have done really forever. Where are you? Go, party! Thank you, Damien, for your skill and generous time in bringing our invites to life. We love them. May on the music, and Kira and Ed, MC Damage, for not requesting too much chicken, but also for consistently offering your support, whether here or away. You guys are so solid and lovely, and Ed, we had every confidence you would do an amazing job tonight, and you have to say thank you. Andrew and Ange, being the brother and sister that I know I can always count on, whether it's for parting beer or enthusiasm about wedding shopping that I have. This has really been something that's been across a lifetime. Since I was at prep at school and Andrew, you were pulling my hair into a ponytail while Mum was away. I love you both dearly. The Finlays, Bob and Anne and Darren. I strongly believe that people's families are such a core element of their being, and I'm so rapt to be joining this one. Even before we had the opportunity to meet in person, I was welcomed with emails and excitement, and I love that this has continued. In many ways, I've been completely overwhelmed by generosity, whether that be just thoughtful words inquiring about my work or my mum, a beautiful meal in a bed, open arms, and offers of help, and of course regular tours of Beecroft. You welcomed all that Ryan and I are as a package, and I'm so thankful. I'm really looking forward to continuing to share our lives. Mum and Dad, thank you for always supporting me in the truest sense of the word, encouraging me to make my own decisions, having complete faith and patience, and being open and demonstrating the love. But mostly thanks for being here, and I guess I'm not just talking about cutting down your travelling time. Mum, it really doesn't feel that long ago, and I guess it was only a few months after I met Ryan, and he was all I could talk about when we were outside that hospital, and you had one of your very few moments of frustration and tears and said, I just want to live long enough to see you get married. Well, beautiful, you made it, and so have I, bizarrely. I'm so proud, and thank you, Dad, for sticking there by Mum's side all throughout it, so loyally. And finally, to my husband, Ryan. There's so much I could say, but I'm sure you and I have said it a million times to each other before. However, I thought I would share this poem that is by Michael Looney, the Melbourne cartoonist. And I'm not really into creative things, but when I read this for the first time, it just totally resonated with me, and I felt us. So it's untitled. Once there was a damsel in distress. She had become a bit of a dragon, and it was consuming her. Resonated strongly. A knight in shining armour confronted the damsel, and seeing her reflection in his shining breastplate, she realised what a dragon she had become, and she didn't like it. In earnest, she set about getting the dragon where it belonged and making sense of it. You've saved me, she cried. Take off your armour that I may kiss you in gratitude. The removal of armour requires assistance, responded the knight. So together they removed the heavy armour, and the damsel embraced him warmly. The knight had never been so warmly touched. He felt immense relief. He felt lighter, less weary, more free. That's how I feel too, cried the damsel joyfully. And after some healthy, passionate kisses, excuse my nose running, they had some healthy, passionate children, which of course started with Archie. And they kept the dragon and the armour, which were useful for them from time to time. And generally speaking, in their own funny way, they lived quite happily ever after. My precious friend Brian, you have irreconcilably changed me forever. Besides a fairy tale, you have given me a new lens on the world that is full of all of your optimism, passion and joy. You truly have the most beautiful spirit I've found in this world. I feel like you and I can take on anything from our little corner, and I just can't wait. Thank you.
To round up our round of speeches for this evening, I'd like to invite to the floor, Father of the Groom, Mr.
testes, 1, 2. I thought I'd have a lectern. I've been a lecturer for 30 years and I thought at least I'd have a lectern. Here we go. Well, good evening everybody. It really is great to see so many people from so many walks of life and from so many different cultures. And it's lovely to think that everybody belongs in this wonderful world of ours. It's great to see you here. As father of the groom, and that certainly sounds better than the way Ryan usually talks to me about Ryan's old man. So I'd like to relate a few stories about the groom. Then I'd like to use my varied experience and give them some good advice. And then take the opportunity to welcome Kate into our family. And finally try to link the themes of all of the things I've said above in the form of a song, if you'll bear with me. Bearing in mind that all 3 other members of my family have been on the stage at the Opera House, but bear with me. And all in 5 minutes plus a minute and a half for the song. So what stories best reflect Ryan as he passed through the stages of development thus far? First, a reminder that it's important that this is a parent's view and it's only one parent's view, and that I'm moved by that wonderful, the writings of the Talmud when they said, and I'd like you to all bear this in mind, that we never see things as they are. We always see things and people as we are, and what we see is usually the result of our experiences with them or our past experiences. And so, there goes a moth, yes, got it. Given this, what of his early childhood? And bear in mind that he grew up with 2 psychologists as parents, and one would have been enough, I've heard them expressed before. When deciding to make Australia our home, Anne and I searched the Sydney suburbs for a Montessori school, and we eventually found one. And as soon as Ryan was toilet trained, and Anne, could you just take up that prompt for a minute? I forgot to bring it. You just take out that, open it up. This was, as soon as he was, Anne doesn't know what's going on. Now, as soon as he was toilet trained, and that's Anne's kept cop. Okay, that's it. As soon as he was toilet trained, and he was prepared to leave Monk at home. He went off to Montessori school, where the philosophy was, and this is important that you listen to this, the philosophy was help children to do things themselves. And the view that we also should, the other theory behind Montessori was that we should follow the child only when they present as being ready to learn. And Ryan took this approach like a duck to water. To this day, Ryan has fiercely defended, independence streak. When it comes to doing really whatever, there's usually a right way, a wrong way, and Ryan's way. With regard to following the child, that feature has had some advantages in that Ryan, as you know, loves to travel. The male side of our family seems to have a must-travel gene. And Africa, for both Ryan and me, there has been an African epiphany, an experience of a sudden, striking realisation. Ryan, in his brief communication style, knocked us over when it was expressed by a friend that he had been smitten. Like me in Africa, he realised that life is better not lived alone. Choices need to be made, and here we are all today. For Anne and I as parents, following the child has had its advantages, for we have followed Ryan, we have followed the child to Germany, to Southeast Asia, and more recently to Africa. But much more than this, we have met Kate through all of this, and in turn the wonderful people that this occasion has attracted here tonight. In middle childhood, leaving early childhood behind, an experience at 6 illustrates Ryan's powers of questioning. And it really stands out for me because I had a carload of children. I had a prairie that seated 7 children, and I was taking them to school, to this Montessori school one morning in this car. And just as I was about, I'm sorry for the Victorians here, but Pennant Hills Road is a very, very busy road in Sydney. And just as I was about to make a right-hand turn, a really dangerous corner, Ryan struck. Not with the inevitable question, where do babies come from? But much more than this. Dad, what is sex like? As I recall nearly losing control of the car, as I contemplated, well, what now? All the occupants of the car stopped their chatter and were listening avidly. Even Darren had stopped talking. While I was thinking, what prompted this question? Is this one best deflected to his mother? I am tempted to pause here and in lecture mode say, what did you talk amongst yourselves? And I'll be back in a moment to see what you've come up with when you think about how to answer that question of a precocious 6-year-old child. What I answered must have done the trick because he seemed satisfied with the answer and nothing more was said. So if you want to know what I said to him, just see me privately after.
I said nothing and he's still saying nothing.
You may be about to find out tonight. In adolescence, the experience related to Ryan's decision in Year 10, and those who went to school with him may recall that in Year 10 he wanted to leave school. A teacher who will be known to some of you, I believe, Ryan used to like winding her up in knots with his powers of questioning. She'd given them a questionnaire that identified Ryan as predominantly a what-if person, and was told that what-if people don't usually do well at school. They ask too many questions. Ryan was given the impression that what-if people had a limited future in the school system as she saw it, and for some time, with varying degrees of success, Ryan continued to ask questions and keep his place in a variety of institutions, racking up, as Mark mentioned, HECS in many different career attempts: UTS, Tourism Management; University of Canberra, Information Technology; Macquarie University, Health Science; and finally Western Sydney, Psychology. All great background when meeting an occupational therapist in Lesotho. Kate, be warned, personality tends to remain fairly constant throughout our lives. Your husband, as a fellow traveller, is likely to continue and display a strong independent streak, and remain a person who will ask a lot of questions, but much more than this. Much more than this, we know him to be a person who, in his own inimitable style, has a lot to give. As parents, we want to say and convey how much we recognise and appreciate the extra dimension that you've brought to our son's life in terms of his development and potential for change. All for the better, I might add. And such are the transformative powers of an ideal partner and someone so obviously in love. We welcome you to our small family unit and appreciate the contribution that you will make to it. So now for the song that attempts to unite, that attempts to link several of the themes while giving a pointer to the future. And I'll try and do this without accompaniment. Mark said that I could get it in a karaoke style, but it goes like this. And if you feel inclined to hum along, we will. And now, the new frontier, as you climb your next mountain, to your friends I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. They'll live a life that's full, as they travel each and every highway, but more, much more than this, they'll do it their way. Questions, they'll have a few, but hopefully too few to mention. They'll do what they have to do and see it through without exemption. They'll plan each charted course, each careful step along the byway, but more, much more than this, they'll do it their way. To finally close, as Africa united them, I would like to conclude with a little Zulu that I remember for my 16 years in South Africa, saying to the married couple on behalf of us all here, Habakatli, Salakatli, and that means go well, stay well. Thank you.
Everybody loves somebody sometime. Everybody falls in love somehow. Something in your kiss just told me my sometime is now. Everybody finds somebody someplace. There's no telling where love may appear. Something in my heart keeps saying my someplace is here. If I had it in my power, I'd arrange for every girl to have your charm. Then every minute, every hour, every boy would find what I found in your arms. Everybody loves somebody sometime. And although my dream was overdue, your love made it well worth waiting for.
like to hear your defence, and then I'm gonna like do the other
In
one.
the name of my defense.
Okay, literally, when was the last second we had music? Literally. Yeah, no.
Can you just say what's just occurred on Kate and Ryan's wedding?
Hi Kate and Ryan, I found my ring. It's okay.
How did you lose it?
I was happy and said, yay, Kate and Ryan.
And it flew off your finger?
Flew off my finger.
And it landed in?
The water. And I just found it.
Thanks to the torch on your...
Yeah, on my phone.
Croatia. At a petrol station. At a tavern. Fuck off. I know it's your wedding, but fuck off. Sorry, don't listen to that. Edit that one.
There'll be some Marvin Gaye playing over the top.
Into flowers.
So where's your wife? Oh yeah, no, fucking one.
We got a new one.
We're going to Melbourne.
Yeah.
No, we just would have Would you guys like?
Chunk of flowers.
Yeah.
You could go up and go, would you kind of like me or any
Direct me to the bathroom.
direct me to, you know, what's your name? Would honestly.
Oh, two right.
Thank you everyone.
You said two.
There she goes.
We're throwing rice right now, symbolically.
Anything I wouldn't do. Oh.
I am not easy. Easy on.
In a Sydney taxi, they ride off into their sunset.
They literally